We also do the show to enfeeble our enemies,
Very, very true.
enrich our friends, and impoverish our foes. That's a houseboat secret right there.
Speaking of, like, found out a dude I work with, his dad is like a bigwig in the fucking elevator union, and this dad wouldn't pull any strings to get him into the union. Oh, don't think that'd be the right moral upstanding thing to do.
This is how you know that your dad is a middle class boomer.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna tell you, when I worked in finance, I talked to a lot of people that worked on the railroad in various fashions. Most of them were younger than me, had less education, were working office jobs, and I asked every single one of them how they got into it, and the answer was always, "Oh, so and so, who's a family member of mine, helped me."
Literally every time.
So I mentioned that castle to you, right? Carmike Castle, that one up in Connecticut.
Right?
So that came to my attention because there was this super long Twitter thread that basically this bitch found this place on Zillow, listed on Zillow, and like went through this whole huge screen about the place. Like every photo she found, she posted on Twitter and had like a whole big thing to say about it. Eventually got to the point where there was this like an image of this coat of arms carved into wood, but it didn't have any color or paint to it, so it was just like it was just carved directly into the wood and without any greater detail. And the angle of the shot made it impossible to tell what it said or what was depicted on there. But she said something about how it's like, yeah, we can't read this, but I'm absolutely sure that motto was made up like 10 minutes before this got carved and has something to do with pulling yourself up by your bootstraps by paying your own dues for Skull and Bones.
That's the one.
But I saw that and I thought about it for a bit, and my only thought was, does she not realize that rich people don't say things like that?
Dude, I saw something on Twitter um, that has stuck with me for a few days. And it said something like, if the idea of losing your keys gives you anxiety, you're lower middle class.
That's definitely true. But like the my point with the whole bootstrap thing is, it's not rich people who are out here unless it's a rich person who like makes a living going on CNBC and pretending to give people valuable advice about how to manage their money. Look, in the same way that fines are only a punishment for poor people, the advice rich people have to give doesn't actually work for poor people. Like it's not valuable at all.
Well,
Like these people, most of those people have never been poor. They have no sense of what to do.
well,
If you don't have at least like 10K a month to just burn on whatever you want.
well, these fucking people, like, we've seen them write articles that are like, this millennial is living debt free, owns his own house, and has a 7-figure income. How did he do it? Well, I was really thrifty through college, and I worked really hard in high school and I got some scholarships. But after I finished up at college, I started at my dad's company. It's like, okay, fuck you. Fuck you.
Yep. There's always that bit in there. It's like, but rich people like unless they come out on TV, they don't do the whole bootstrap talk. They'll do this whole thing about how it's important to be thrifty and save your money. And yes, you should want to save your money. You should want to be thrifty, but you should also have the realization that being thrifty and not splurging and not going out to buy Starbucks like $8 Starbucks coffee every day isn't going to turn you into a millionaire. That's just going to have you money for things that you'll actually want to have in the like it's not that's on its own not is not going to turn you into a millionaire. You need to actually have an idea, and it helps to know a lot of people, which is why it's important to make connections everywhere you go in life, despite everything in media telling you to do the opposite. Like everything you see in media makes you want to cultivate that antisocial side of yourself. Don't fucking do it. Make every friend you can possibly make, because you never know who's going to be able to help you. But like rich people don't go on about bootstrap stuff, at least when they're giving advice to their own kids. They're basically like look, kid, I'm gonna do everything I can to help make sure that you get yourself a good, honest living. But you just have to go through the steps and check enough of the boxes that anyone I recommend you to is going to be like, well, okay, he meets the minimum requirements at least.
He,
Plus, this guy vouches for him. So yeah, we're gonna make this. Like that's how families who are rich continue to remain rich.